Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I would like to say a massive thank you for all those who watched the intro, liked, shared, commented, and subscribed. And thank you again for joining me today. So, today is World Sickle Cell Day, and I thought it best to get into what is sickle cell. So, here we go. Sickle cell disease is a hereditary blood disorder in which there aren't enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout the body. Normally, healthy red blood cells, they can just flow through your bloodstream quite easily. As a person with sickle cell, however, our red blood cells tend to change shape into like a crescent, half moon shape, and what happens there is they can kind of stick together and end up blocking the blood vessels. This causes many issues throughout our body, but the most common issue this causes is what we call a crisis, which is a bout of excruciating pain. These bouts of pain are more commonly known to happen in the joints, so your hips, your knees, ankles, back, etc. However, what people don't realize is sickle cell is a blood disorder. So wherever your blood runs in your body, you can get a crisis. Being a blood disorder, these blockages can happen in places where you may not be able to feel the difference, or places that it may not always cause a painful crisis. For example, I had a blockage behind my eye once, and this caused me to temporarily be blind in the eye for half an hour to an hour. Now, once I went to get checked out and everything, there was nothing wrong with my eyes, and that's when we came to the conclusion that I just had a short blockage behind my eye, and that's what caused me to not be able to see for that bout of time. So I say this just to let you know that these blockages can happen all the time, and this is where issues come in with the complications of sickle cell, which I will go into later. For now, right now, we're going to get into the different types of sickle cell. Small disclaimer, there may be some medical jargon, but I will try to keep it as simplified as possible, as I know it can get a bit confusing. So the first type of sickle cell disease that we're going to look in today is HBSS. In other words, sickle cell anemia type SS. The HB just stands for hemoglobin beta. Hemoglobin is a protein that allows the red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout the body. So the HB part is just the cells, the type of blood. HB just represents the blood. SS, however, is the gene that you carry. So S is the sickle gene that you carry. This is the type I have. I have sickle cell anemia SS. Where the anemia part comes from is that with this type, you tend to be very anemic because you may have a lower blood count. The next type is HBSC. So sickle hemoglobin C. Those with SC have a slightly different substitution in their genes, so they produce hemoglobin S and C. The next one is sickle beta 0 thalassemia. So sickle beta 0 thalassemia, so HBSBO. This affects the beta globin gene production. The size of the red blood cells is reduced because there is less beta protein that is made with the thalassemia. There's also sickle beta thalassemia plus, which is also where a sickle cell warrior has inherited a sickle gene and a thalassemic gene. It just so happens that one is slightly different than the other in how it may affect you physically. There are also some rarer forms of sickle cell, which are HBSD. So they have the sickle gene S and the sickle gene D. HBSE and HBSO. So to keep things as simplified as possible, so to not confuse anyone any further, when speaking on genetics, I will just be addressing type SS. I will also have images come up to show you diagrams on the different types of ways the sickle gene can be inherited. So let's think of a regular healthy person. Their blood would be AA. And someone who carries the sickle cell gene, so someone with trait, will have a S. So if someone with AA and someone with AS, they procreated, it is possible that they will have a 1 in 4 chance of their children having trait, the sickle cell trait, as there is 3 A's to carry and only 1 S. Another example is if there's 2 people that carry the gene, so sickle cell trait AS and AS. There is a 1 in 4 chance that a child of theirs may have full-blown SS. The other possible things that may happen is have 1 child with AA, 2 be a carrier of the S gene, and 1 with SS. In my circumstance, however, both my parents have full-blown sickle cell anemia. So both my parents have SS and SS. So it was pretty much inevitable for me to have SS. I see you judging. To most, this probably seems a bit, I don't know, but for me, I see it as an advantage. With both my parents having full-blown sickle cell, they knew the risks that I would have to avoid and how to better manage my condition. So apart from one really severe complication in my childhood, which I'll get into in another video, I was kept pretty healthy until I came to an age of like teenagers, and I just wanted to be like everybody else and kind of took control of my health in a sense. I say that because my maternal grandparents, they both were carriers of the sickle gene, so they both had SAS. At the time, however, they didn't know, and unusually for them, because like I said, if 2 carriers have 4 children, it's most likely that only one of their children will have full-blown SS. For my grandparents, it turns out that all 3 of the children that they had SS. So my maternal grandparents, both having the trait, they ended up raising 3 girls with full-blown sickle cell. And to me, the fact that they didn't know that they had sickle cell trait to begin with would have been an extremely hard thing to deal with, because they would have had to kind of learn on the job. But yeah, enough about me and my craziness. These are the different ways that the sickle gene is inherited and can be passed down. So although these charts say, typically, most commonly, parents that are just carriers of the gene, there's only a 1 in 4% chance that your child will have SS. I know from personal experience that might not always be the case. But in saying that, let me say this. Sickle cell disease is not a death sentence. It is not possible for you to die of sickle cell alone. Yes, the complications can be severe. Yes, the complications can be fatal. Yes, the pain itself from just having sickle cell can make you feel like you just want it all to be over. But having sickle cell itself cannot kill you. It is not possible to die from sickle cell disease. Sorry, but that really gets under my skin. So yeah, the complications of sickle cell, yes, they can be very severe and unfortunately very fatal. But sickle cell itself, no. So getting back into genetics, for those who are interested in seeing if you are a carrier of the sickle gene, there is a blood test that you can ask your GP for, and that is called hemoglobin electrophoresis. Hemoglobin electrophoresis. This blood test can diagnose if you are a carrier of the sickle gene and determine what type it is you may carry. So I touched on how the complications of sickle cell can be severe. So I'll give you a quick overview on what some of these complications are and what they may look like. Some of the complications that I personally have come across are sight loss, organ damage, organ failure, stroke. We are also very susceptible to infection, so a cold or flu can turn into pneumonia from 0 to 100 real quick. Another complication that I've come across is ulcers, which is like an open wound. Mostly common to come on the legs, but you can have them in other places also. Arthritis is also a complication that sickle cell may cause, or a vascular necrosis, which is the wearing away of bones. That is most common to happen in the joints. Types of possible treatments that us sickle cell warriors may utilize to help manage our sickle cell crisis, or sometimes to help prevent extra complications. There's different types of medication, and one of the most common form of treatment is blood transfusions or blood exchanges. There is still not enough black blood donations. We need your help. We need your blood. So if you can, try donating. It doesn't take that much time, and the needle is only a little prick. You'll be fine. Also, I found out recently that if you do have sickle cell trait, you may not be able to donate your actual blood cells, but it is possible that you can donate your plasma to others that may need it. So I just want to end this video by saying thank you so much for sticking with me and getting this far. I went through a lot of technical difficulties today, starting with the thunderstorm and then a loss of memory and having to transfer things over, which led my recording session to be a lot longer than intended. And now to a loss of daylight. So please excuse me for the change of lighting. I hope that you can still see me okay. This being my first full-length video, bear with me, I am new to this, and just getting comfortable with being in front of the camera and sharing these things with you. The quality and the content can only get better from here. So I really hope that you stay with me through this journey. I just wanted to be transparent with you, and let you know that it can only get better from here, really. The response from my intro was really amazing, and I want to know what you want to know. Let me know what it is you would like to know more about sickle cell, whether that be just the day-to-day, how do you deal with this situation or that situation, or things that you may have heard about sickle cell and you want me to address. Let me know. This is about sharing insight and raising more awareness. So again, like, comment, subscribe, share, and join me in the next one. Take care. It is most commonly known. That was so good. I lost my thing. Okay. I'm gonna sneeze. Beta. Hemoglobin stands. Chill out. And therefore will be suffer from what I don't know. I didn't name them. I didn't name it.